Hello, everybody. I know this is probably not the video you were expecting when you clicked onto this, but I implore you to stay and watch this video all the way through as I am an aspiring creative who is eager and desperate to get my work out there and to pursue my ambitions behind creative direction. And hopefully I'll be given an opportunity to work with a plethora of people and a plethora of artists in the near future. So, my name is Vivian. I'm a part of Umo Inc., and I am going to present to you today my creative direction for a music video for Leon Thomas's I Do, a song off of his album Mutt. So, before I get started, I have been a fan of Leon Thomas for a couple months now, and I listened to his album all the way through, and I was shocked to see that not all of his songs have had visualizers or music videos put out. So I thought, why not show my own ideas and my own creative direction for how I would put together a music video for an artist like Leon Thomas and for specifically this song, I Do. So I implore you to go listen to the song so that way you kind of see where I'm coming from with the visuals that I've chosen and the kind of creative direction that I've gone with. But if you don't want to listen to the whole song, I'll play a couple seconds of it here for you right now. Eyes like that should never be filled with tears. Lies don't deserve you, cover your ears. I won't desert you, you'll see what you hear. God and losing you are the only two things I feel. Kiss you in the morning, say you 7 minutes faster. My apologies for the bad audio, but let's continue. Now that you've heard just a bit of the song, let's get into again my creative direction for how I would put this music video together. So, first off, as I listen to songs from artists, I always really try to envision the scenes of the music video all the way through before I really try to put anything, really piece together anything. So, as I listened to this song over and over again, I just kept having this idea of this joint story. Growing up, I loved watching music videos as a kid. I still love watching music videos and I love good stories. So I really like seeing music videos that had some sort of plot line or told some sort of story. Those were always the things that I really loved watching. So that's kind of why I also hope to continue on, that kind of artistic tradition and be able to do that myself. So as I was listening to this song, I really had this joint idea of a funeral and a wedding, and I'll definitely flesh that out more later in this video. But I specifically went with a funeral just because of the idea of, holding on and letting go. The song I Do, again, if you've listened to it all the way through, even if you listen to that little snippet, it's a very, lovely song in the sense that it's talking about love. It's talking about, two people coming together and being in love. But the way that it's arranged and the way that it's put together, it also kind of gives you this sense of almost like sadness. And even though it's obviously not meant to invoke that, it's just the arrangement of the song that kind of gives off that general, like vibe and atmosphere. So I just had this idea of a funeral pop into my head again, holding on, letting go. And even though a funeral, funerals are sad, you've lost a loved one or you lost somebody close to you. When you look at many cultures, funerals are not all just about sadness. It's also about the celebration of life and a celebration of love. Again, something that I'll expand more on later on in this video. So, yes, funerals are sad, considering that we also obviously think about death when it comes to a funeral, but we also try to think about the celebration and the memories that we hold of the person who died at said funeral. Now, I also thought of a wedding. I feel like this one is a bit more on the nose. It's a bit more obvious. Weddings invokes feelings of love. We say "I do" at weddings. That's the title of the song as well. I do. So that one's a bit more on the nose. It's a bit more obvious. And again, like I said, I'll explain more or I'll explain why later that this is a joint idea between the funeral and the wedding. So, as you can see on the screen, I also have written down a couple focus equals a dynamic music video. So, again, like I said, I really like when music videos tell a story. I like it when it showcases something interesting happening. Um, And I was really thinking that when you see music videos, they obviously try to center the artist as much as possible. Obviously, you want to highlight the singer, you want to highlight the artist, but sometimes that can be a bit not necessarily difficult, but you still want something else to like fill up the screen and to really take focus in the background as to what's happening around the artist as well. So that was kind of my idea when it came to this sort of, couple focus that would make for a very dynamic music video. So moving on. So the general setting that I was thinking of for this music video would be in a church. So I was really thinking about all the ways that a wedding and a funeral can be held. But how I envision the music video, like I said before, this is a joint story, and that's something I'll explain later on. So I was really thinking that it should all take place in one cohesive setting. So I was thinking church wedding, church funeral. I feel like those things really just go together well. Or again, like I said, it would just be a straight line, cohesive story for a reason I'll explain later on as to why it should take place all within one general setting, being the church. So as I was again envisioning this music video in my head and envisioning the scenes that would be in this music video, I was thinking about the main scenes. And what I thought the main scenes or one part of it should be Leon Thomas and the choir. So as you listen to the song, as I hope you've listened to it before you came back to watch my video, the song to me sounds like there's a choir in the background. Now, really, I'm not as musically inclined as I wish I were, but that could just be Leon Thomas's vocals stacked on top of each other. But to me, I just got the image of a choir in my head, and it really does sound like a choir to me. So I was really thinking some of the main scenes within this music video should be Leon Thomas singing with and in front of a choir. So not only would that add a sort of again like dynamic aspect to the music video, but it also is a good way to still feature the artist and have something going on in the music video. So I thought that would be a very good idea. Then the other main scenes, as I mentioned before, should be shots of this wedding that's taking place. So I thought that there should be multiple shots of, the couple getting ready. If you've seen people's weddings, if you've seen wedding videos, if you've seen even wedding music videos, or you've seen wedding scenes in movies or TV shows, then you see these almost like behind the scenes shots of like the couple getting ready, the bride getting ready with the bridesmaids and the groom getting ready with his groomsmen. So I definitely thought that there should be a couple shots of, those kinds of behind the scenes thing, a couple shots of the bride walking down the aisle and the couple at the altar together. These should all be scenes that are connected together with Leon Thomas and the choir while also showing scenes of this wedding. So now some specific scenes that I was thinking of, again, as I envision these things while I'm doing these explanations and while I'm doing these videos, I do want to keep it a bit general just so you kind of get the gist of what I'm going for. But I also kind of see these things playing out, like actually playing out in my head. So I still also have some ideas of specific scenes that I was thinking of. So I was thinking, there should be scenes of the guest. And I feel like that is a very specific thing that I will definitely elaborate on here. And the reason why I say that is because scenes of the guest, I feel like, is an important part of this music video, again, for a reason that I'll explain later on. I think the two-way almost scenes of the guest is something that would be pivotal in the music video. And like I said, I'll explain that later on. Another specific scene that I was thinking of was the couple at the altar, possibly mouthing the lyrics together. Again, like I said, I hope you listen to the song all the way through. But there's a lyric in this song that says, "God and losing you are the only two things I fear." And as I was thinking of, again, the scenes for this music video, I could just imagine as the song is going on, you see either the bride or the groom saying this lyric and saying this line to the other person, almost like it's a part of their vows. So I was thinking that that would also be a very nice scene to be added in within this music video. And like I said before, scenes of the couple getting ready, bride with her bridesmaids, groom with his groomsmen, all that kind of like behind the scenes stuff that really leads up to the actual officiated wedding. So, the final scene and why this is a joint story. So, again, like I said, as I envision these things, I really envision it all kind of like laid out together or fully laid out in one complete story. So, for the final scene, I was thinking of Leon Thomas and the funeral. And this is where we're kind of going to get the reveal. Is the final shot should be Leon Thomas singing in front of the choir, and as you can see here on the screen, I say, this is the final shot of the artist. And I really like this as the final scene for the music video because it would feature the artist and it features the completed story. So the completed story is that Leon Thomas and the choir are eventually shown to be singing at the funeral of this couple. So, again, that's kind of why I said this is a joint story because we see their wedding and we also see these scenes of Leon Thomas and the choir. And then by the end, you realize that Leon Thomas and the choir are actually singing at the funeral of this couple. And it's a joint funeral, like I said here. The lovers are laid to rest together. I was really thinking about this initially as maybe just a funeral for one of them, but I couldn't really envision just one of them, essentially being laid to rest. And I really feel like that kind of also encapsulates not just the feeling of love, but also kind of the song in general. This I do, you're saying I do at your wedding, you're coming together in holy matrimony on earth. And then by the end, you're also being laid to rest together. So, you're together on earth and now you're together after death. I also want to say, just like with the guest, and why I said that scenes of the guest I thought was also an important part of the music video is because as we see scenes of the guest at the funeral, you see them happy, you see them smiling, very overjoyed for the couple, and then you're also going to get these scenes of the guest, looking sad, possibly even crying, and that's kind of going to like really pique the interest of the viewer who's watching the music video, kind of wondering what's going on. And then that's when you get to the end and realize, oh, this is a wedding. And then we eventually see how it's a funeral as well. Obviously, it's not all in one go, but it's something that's eventually pieced together as an ongoing story. I also just want to say here as a quick disclaimer, the image that you see on screen, I'm actually not too sure if this is somebody's or two people's actual funeral. I did just find this image online, so I'm not sure if this is someone's actual funeral or if this is just like a staged funeral. But if it is, truly my condolences because I'm really not too sure if this is somebody's actual funeral. But moving on, as I was thinking about the main shots of this music video and for this music video, I was thinking of some up close shots. Again, bride and groom getting ready, the up close shots of the bride and groom at the altar, possibly saying these lyrics as vows to each other. Again, the up close shots of the spoken vows or the spoken lyrics. And then I was also thinking about some pan shots of the choir and pan shots of the priest. And if you're not really aware of what like pan shots are, it's kind of like moving across the screen, kind of like when you move your head in one direction to another. So, pan shots of the choir, pan shots of the priest. And then I was also thinking wide shots of the guest and even wide and pan shots of the guest so you can really see the reactions of the guest at both the wedding and the funeral. And then, as I said before, I was thinking for the final scene, as we see Leon Thomas and the choir bringing the song to an end, we then see this wide pan out to where you eventually see the double caskets, realizing that they're singing at the funeral of this couple as well for the final scene. So this is kind of like a mood board that I put together. Again, I also want to say that none of these images are originally mine. I could not source all of the original creators for these images. I'm simply just providing these as visual aid so you can kind of see what I'm getting at and kind of what I was really envisioning as I was really trying to bring this music video and this music video idea to life. So as you can just see here, the images on the screen. We have some general images for the wedding here. These are some nice shots. I would imagine for the wedding and for the couple. I also have some shots of some choir here, some visual images of choirs here. I was envisioning the choir all in white, Leon Thomas and the choir all dressed in white. I really feel like with what I was envisioning, that also goes well with the lighting that I was envisioning. So you can see here, I have some images of churches, cathedrals. This is the kind of lighting that I was really thinking of. Like again, the song is about love. It's about two people coming together, saying I do. But like I said, I also really felt kind of like that, almost like sadness behind the song. So I was really just envisioning that even though again we have this love story in the beginning and then we have this story of grief at the end, it's still light and airy, and it's still almost angelic as you see kind of like the light streaming in from this church or within the church. So this is kind of like the images that I was thinking of. And like I mentioned before, I think that I would really envision seeing the choir and Leon Thomas all dressed in white, kind of like these images here. And then like this image here, Leon Thomas just kind of in front of the choir, singing as the lead. So this is kind of, what I really envision. This is kind of like the mood board that I put together and what I envisioned as some of the images and inspiration for this music video. So that's kind of my overall general idea and my overall thinking for how I really, really envisioned this music video to go. So that's it for me. If you watch this video all the way through, I really do appreciate that. Like I mentioned before, I'm an aspiring creative. I'm really ambitious and I'm eager to hopefully get a big opportunity and to really get my work out there and pursue all of my goals and creative ambitions. So, this is just one of many ways that I'm really trying to do that. Like I said, it's probably not the video you were thinking of when you clicked on here, but if you watch it all the way through, I really do appreciate that. I would love to work with Leon Thomas someday and even other artists someday to really spearhead the video production and creative direction for their work and hopefully, add on my own, initiatives there and really just make something that's very inspirational and something that is very appealing to an audience. So again, my name is Vivian with Umo Inc. And if you watch this all the way through, again, I really appreciate that. If you have any comments you want to leave, go ahead. And even if you have any advice, I'd also really appreciate that as well. But be on the lookout for some of my other videos where I'm also going to be doing some more visualizer ideas for other artists that I have coming, and even for some of Leon Thomas's other songs as well. So, again, thank you for watching, and that's it. Bye.